If your company handles sensitive information and you want to make sure you're protecting that information, one way that people do that is to de-identify your data sets. But what does that mean? De-identify will often be used interchangeably with anonymize or pseudo-anonymize. But at its base, it means you are removing enough information from a data set to no longer be able to identify an individual. There are lots of wonderful pieces of technology that will help you to do this. The problem with it is it's actually very difficult to do. In order to properly de-identify data, you have to make sure that there are no combinations of pieces of data within the data set that could still identify an individual. This is often called a triad, where there are 3 pieces of information when put together could identify someone. So if you said people named Kat, it's a lot of people. People in Canada, a lot of people. But if you were to say people named Kat in Canada whose last name is Code, you would only end up with me. And so those 3 pieces of information, which are just first name, last name, and country, sound like they would be obscure enough not to identify an individual. But if the 3 pieces of information come together and the data set is small enough, and in my case, it's my last name, you can identify an individual. So if your company is going to be using de-identification to de-identify data sets, make sure you work hard to test if you were to combine other pieces of information with the information you have, could you then identify any individuals? And if your data set was small enough, for instance, if they're doing COVID testing in a town where only one person is over 90 and they say a person over 90 has COVID, you have identified that individual. So make sure your data set sizes are big enough and the data that you have remaining is obscure enough not to be able to combine it to identify the people that you have. If you have any questions, as always, post them below and I'm happy to answer them. Thanks.